Okay, people? So now let's do MPCs. What are we doing up to now? We have our plant. For example, our the gate that we are trying to build. True? And we have a measurement system that tells us actually how fast it is going. And then we compare it with what we would like to have. We get an error. And then we have this scheme that transforms error into actuation. Okay, this is a controller. The PID, as before, was a controller in the sense that it's something that takes the error and computes how much you have to do. Together, people, for this, an MPC is the same. It's something that here will look like a different thingy, but it's a transformation from error into decision. Decision for the gate is how much voltage you apply to the motor, or if it is a servo, the type of signal that you give to the servo. Now, we are trying, before the PID was something that this transformation was built without using ODEs. Now MPC is going to be this transformation ladders on ODEs somehow. Are we together? So are we together where we are going? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. ODEs are tools that you can use to produce forecasts. Are we together on this? 1, 2, 3. With Euler, you basically know what is happening now. You have the ODE, and you can say in 1 hour this is going to happen because the ODE I do Euler. Okay. We drop the T's. Now, what do I have to do right now? I know that my gate was having this angular speed in the past because I've measured it. So I have a vector of what was going to happen in the past, what was happening in the past. And then I know that I would like, this is my reference, I would like my future signal to be this one, okay? So that is my wish. And I don't care too much about what is going to happen in 2 years. I just want to know what happens in the next 5 seconds. Together? Of course, the longer the prediction horizon that I want, the higher the computational complexity. True? The longer the prediction horizon, the better decision typically you will take. If you are looking at happiness of your life in the next 5 minutes, it's going to be very different from looking at the happiness of your life looking on the horizon of 30 years. Together? Perfect. I have the ODE. What does it mean? If I apply this input, the ODE tells me you are going to get likely this output. True? From this potential U through the ODE, you get, if you apply this, you are likely to get this one. Not perfectly, because of course the ODE is an approximate description of reality. The better the ODE, the closer that is going to happen. Together? And then the ODE can tell me, if I apply this input, I'm likely going to get this output. And if I apply this input, I'm likely going to get this output. And this input, I'm likely going to get this output. I put a candidate U, and I get a forecasted Y based on that candidate. Changing my plan, I change the forecast of what is happening. Are we together on this? Always to the ODE. We saw 4 candidates. The candidates are the gray triangles. We have this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I would like my triangles, red triangles, to be as close as possible here. Which candidate U shall I choose? This one, true? This one. How does MPC work? MPC has the reference trajectory that I want. I have an ODE that says If I apply this U, this happens. If I apply this U, this happens. If I apply this U, this happens. Of course, it's not going to happen exactly that. Something close by, the better my ODE is, the better my forecast is. And the closer my prediction is going to be. You have together. Right now, what can the computer do? Scans for the U that leads to my forecasted trajectory to be as close as possible to the desired trajectory. Try to explain this concept to each other. Go. How are we, people? How are we, people? Questions about this concept here? Is this concept clear? This concept here clear? Very much clear, not clear at all, kind of clear. Other questions? I see some tools, so there must be some questions. No. You have a reactor, biological reactor, where you are trying to produce algae. You kind of know that you feed the algae with a certain amount of food and you put some pressure and some temperature. You expect the growth rate of the algae to be a certain amount. And you would like to minimize the amount of food that you give to the algae, but get to a certain point. And you take as a best view the one that takes you there. MPC is one of the, how do you say? It's an advanced control. You're going to have, of course, on MPC. But the concept of, I have an ODE. Through the ODE, I scan what my predictions are depending on the input. And as a potential input, I take that input that tells me my forecasted trajectory is where I would like the system to be. This is this concept here. There's going to be more nuances on the MPC. There's costs, there's other things, but the essential is this one. So you execute, you chose, you execute, and then you repeat. Every step, you repeat. Because of course, what is going to happen is going to be slightly different from what the forecast tells you. True? And then you repeat from there. Question.
So in the MPC, the goal of having the sensors is to tune the actual ODE that we are using.
Indeed, you need to make a prediction. You need to know where you are. So in the measurements, you kind of have an intuition of where you are, so that you can iterate. To the think of the ODE of the car. MA is equal to BV minus BV plus K plus F. You need to know V. True. So you need basically encoders on the wheels to measure the speed.
Like as in Euler forward, starting from a point, that's the prediction.
Indeed, indeed. Go. Answer directly. Answer directly here. Hmm? Together. Together. Depends on how well my predictor works. Go. This one. What do you think? Depends on the situation. I might have an MPC that is well tuned or poorly tuned. I might have a PID that is well tuned or poorly tuned. True? Big misconception. Feedback is always better than open loop. Depends. It's not guaranteed. Typically, yes. Typically, yes. Okay. Typically, you will need closed loop, especially if you have unstable systems. But it's not guaranteed to be better. Okay. How much are we together, people? 1, 2, 3. So what is control? Control, now I'm putting only 2 axes. There should be more axes because there's also the path wise. There might be a lot of other things. But essentially, control means computing this, computing the deciding on an action, depending if you are in feedback, depending on measurements that you have. Okay? It's building a function that I'm drawing here. This one is u is equal to kpy. An MPC is going to look something different. I'm doing something randomly. But you see that in a certain sense, building a controller means building a function that transforms what you have, what you know, into a decision. Okay? What you know into a decision that then is gonna make my system have some dynamics. Together? There's more sophisticated control. There's more trivial control. The role of a control engineer is not to apply always the best, most sophisticated, the most sophisticated controller, is to understand what is needed when and to kind of have typically everything in terms of costs. That is development costs and operational costs. True. So if to make stochastic MPC for the gate will take you 3 years, but then you save 0.01% of the electricity in running the gate, you didn't do a good job. True, because you wasted a lot of time to do something that was a very minimal improvement. Are we together on this? People, very important. At the end of those 2-3 years, you will need to have the how do you say, the expertise of understanding what you need to apply when. We don't do it in this course, but you need to arrive at knowing all the tools, and then you do not hammer screw. True? You might also do it. Depends. Depends. But you got the point, I hope. And typically, the best strategy is actually to do a combination of feedback and feed forward. Why? Maybe I do oops. If I ignore this one, I take action whenever an error occurred. True? If I know that something is happening, I can take preemptive actions. You see? Typically, the best is to take both preemptive actions and corrective actions. If you know that a ball is coming, you start kind of preparing yourself too. and then you will move looking at the ball that is actually doing things. But since you know that the ball is coming, you start preparing yourself. Okay, you see the point? Okay, perfect. Here, there's some stuff. You can do by yourself. Okay, now my proposal is this one. I need to go to this photo shoot thingy, so I disappear until 3. At 3 we meet in this R22 or whatever it is. Do whatever you feel like. If you feel like meeting in groups already there and going through the slides up to now and do the questions and do some material, do it. If you feel tired, take a pause because I think it's kind of a long. Okay? We see each other very soon, people.